In Mathcad, there is a special kind of construct called a solve block, which allows you to solve systems of equations and perform optimizations. In the first video in this series, I took a look at solving a system of linear equations. So for example, I had four equations with four different variables. In the second video, I took a look at optimizing. In this video, we're going to take a look at solving a nonlinear system of equations. And to do that, I'm going to take a look at the Brachistochrone problem, which is a really neat problem. This was also the subject of a Mathcad Community challenge on the PTC community site. Check it out. So anyhow, let me give you the scenario behind the Brachistochrone. Brachistochrone is a word which basically means shortest time, and it's about having a curve that will result in the shortest time for an object to slide from a higher point to a lower point. And so you might think, hey, that would be a straight line. A straight line is the shortest distance. But we're doing this in a uniform gravitational field. So some people started thinking, well, we could benefit by having a bit of a curve to it so something falls more and then accelerates under the gravity, and you can end up with a faster time by having a curved path that it is going to follow. So again, here's an example of a straight line. Here's an example of a parabola. In this video, I'm not going to go through the solving of it, the solving of the Brachistochrone problem. We're going to use it to find the quality, the different parameters of the curve itself. And let's talk about the solution to the Brachistochrone problem. So let me scroll down in my worksheet. And so a bunch of really smart people a long time ago figured out the shape is a cycloid. And if you're not familiar with a cycloid, well, the definition is that if you have a circle and then you take a point on the circle and you roll that circle in a straight line, the path that the point traces in space is going to form a cycloid. And so here's an example of a cycloid that you would get. And for the Brachistochrone, it would actually be a cycloid with a negative set of values for y. It would have some kind of shape like this. And again, there are a ton of videos where you can take a look at how this was solved. There's some really unique solutions to this problem. It's just some brilliant stuff. So anyhow, let's go to the problem that we want to solve with a solve block. And so we're going to start at a point of 0, 0, and we want our ending point to be a horizontal distance of A and then a vertical drop of B. So the ending point will be A, negative B. And so the way that we describe the cycloid is with a radius value R and the angle of the cycloid theta. So those are the two things that we want to solve for. And this worksheet is going to be available on my Dropbox, so you can check out the source for this information, which is mathcurve.com. Mathcurve.com has a lot of great information if you are into math. But anyhow, they give us the equations that describe the cycloid for going from a point of 0, 0 to A, negative B. And it's these equations in terms of R and theta. And you can see that this is not a linear set of equations. This is not an easy thing to solve for R and theta in terms of the values of A and B. And here I've set some initial values for A and B. By the way, it will also tell you the time that it would take for it to slide. If you're going to plug the values into this equation, just be aware that you need to use units for R. For example, you might need to punch in inches or meters or whatever, just because remember that G is a built-in constant in Mathcad and it contains units as well. Also from mathcurve.com, we have the equation to graph the cycloid to see what the final shape is going to be. And it's in terms of R and an angle. And the angle is actually going to be a range variable that goes from 0 to theta. Theta, again, is the angle of the cycloid that it sweeps through between the points of 0, 0 and A, negative B. So anyhow, how are we going to solve for R and theta? This is where the solve block comes in. So let me scroll down on the sheet. let me click where I want to place the solve block. And then right from the Math tab, I will choose Solve Block. And then we have our guess value. So we're going to give some initial estimates for R and theta. I have no idea what they should be, so I'm just going to guess some numbers. Let's do R is going to be equal to 1. Why not? And then for theta, let me go to my symbols drop down, and we're using capital theta, which is the keyboard shortcut of capital Q, Control G. And let's have this equal to pi. Again, it's an angle. Angles are in radians. I will use P, Control G to get the letter pi. Now for our constraints, well, our constraints are going to be these equations here. R times, in parentheses, theta minus sine of theta is equal to A, and R times 1 minus cosine of theta is equal to B. Now, when you're writing your constraints, like I mentioned in the other two videos, this is not the definition equals, this is not the evaluation equals, this is the comparison equals, which is the control and the equal sign. So to save myself time and effort, I'm just going to copy these. Oops, let me grab them. Since I already have them on my sheet, let me select them, and then I'll use Control C, and then let's click in the constraints area and then Control V. And I just want to show you this again, that it is the comparison equals. So let me just delete these. If you want to do that yourself, you would go to operators and then comparison equals. And this is our variable A, which is set up for the horizontal distance between the start point and the end point. Now we have our solver area where we tell our solve block what values we want it to come up with, which in this case is R and theta. And to do that, I'm going to use a matrix. Actually, it's a vector with 2 cells. And so this, and we're going to put in capital R and then our capital theta. Let me go to the Math tab, Symbols, capital theta. And then I'm going to position my cursor to the right. I did that with the arrow key. And this is going to be definition equals. I can go to operators, and then here's our definition equals. It is also the keyboard shortcut of the colon key. This is going to be equal to, and we're going to use the find function. If you go to solve block, when you're able to position your mouse over it, it tells you that you will use one of the keyword solvers: find, min, error, minimize, maximize, ODE, solve, or PDE solve for your differential equations. But anyhow, let's go to our functions, and then here we have solving, and so here you can see those different functions that we can use in the solve block. You can't use all of these in the solve block, but you can see most of them in here. And so we're going to use find, and it gives us 3 placeholders. I will put capital R, and let me use my arrow key to go to the next placeholder. Once again, I'll use the Math tab and then Symbols and then Theta. And let me go to the third placeholder. I'm not solving for 3 things, so I'm just going to hit the delete key. And now we can click on the outside of the graph, and we're not getting any errors. So that is a sign that it worked properly. Let's evaluate our different variables. So R in this case for these 2 values is going to be a value of 2.249. And let's evaluate theta. This time I will use the keyboard shortcut for the capital theta, Shift Q for capital Q, Control G, and then let's use the equal sign. And so this is an angle of 3.82 radians. So anyhow, let's now take a look at graphing that. Here we have the 2 different equations that we are going to use, and I need to set up a range variable to use in order to graph these. And so let me call it RV for range variable, and I'll use the keyboard shortcut of the colon key for the definition equals, and it's going to start from 0, and then I want to specify the increment. So rather than using the regular range variable here, which would use a unit step, we can use this one, which is the keyboard shortcut of the comma. And so the increment, I will use 0.01, nice small value. And then in the other placeholder, I'll just use my right arrow in order to move to it. Well, this is going to be our angle theta. Let me go to symbols and then theta. And so now that I've got this range variable RV, we can graph this by sending R and RV to these two functions that I already defined. So let's go down and position our cursor. Let's put in a chart component, insert chart component, and then let me right click and insert the x-axis expression. And so I have the function, I'm just scrolling up, it's called cycloid x. Very easy to remember. X is equal to cycloid x. And I'm going to send those two variables, r for the radius and then rv for the range variable. Okay, let me move over to the side and let's do our y-axis expression. I will hold down the right mouse button, insert y-axis expression, and I'll use my function cycloid y and then send the same two inputs, r, rv, and then click on the outside. And so here we can see the shape of the Brachistochrone that would end up going a horizontal distance of 10 and a vertical distance of 4. And you'll notice that it does indeed go negative. I'm going to reformat this a little bit just so that we can see the entire Brachistochrone. First off, I want this to be nice and bright. Let's change this to a red color. Let's change the thickness to the third value. Let me go to the X setup. I'm going to have this go from, let's do a user-defined range of -2 to 12. I just want you to see the whole entire graph, and let's do 7 steps. And let's also add some blank space on the y-axis. Let's go to y and then setup and user-defined range, and let's go from -5 to a maximum value of 1, and we can do 6 steps. Nice even whole numbers, so that way we can see our graph. Let's close out of here, and so I can also collapse the inputs to the chart component. And so this is the path that would result in the shortest time. If we want to see what that time is going to be, let me scroll back up and remember what the function was. Okay, T cycloid R theta. So let me evaluate that. Let me type in T, and then for the subscript, I will use Control- and type in cycloid, and then open parentheses, R, comma. This time I'll use keyboard shortcut, Shift Q, Control G, and then hit the equal sign. And, oh yeah, let me do R. Let's say that we're doing this in meters. I'm getting the weird units there because I forgot that. What I caution you that this R needs to have units. And so if we had going from 0, 0 out to a second point of 10 meters horizontally and 4 meters vertically, it would take 1.829 seconds in Earth's gravitational field to travel that distance along this path. So there you have it. That is how you can use a solve block for solving a nonlinear system of equations.